2017 was a record-breaking year for tourism in Toronto, and you might be surprised where many visitors to the Six are coming from. Laura Carney from 680 News takes an inside look at the numbers.
People want to be here, and there's coming here in increasing numbers from around the world, and that's really good for our economy and really good for our city reputation.
43.7 million tourists spent nearly $9 billion in Toronto last year, a 9% increase from 2016. More than one-third of those tourists stayed overnight. Almost 3 million tourists were overnight visitors from the United States, and Andrew Weir with Tourism Toronto says 70% of the American tourists are flying here.
And that's important because it means they stay longer. People that fly here stay longer, they do more, they spend more, and that really affects a lot more businesses and jobs all across the city.
An additional 2.1 million overnight visitors arrived from overseas markets led by China, the UK, and India. And the biggest one-year increase goes to visitors from Mexico, with a 72% jump from 2016.
A lot of people are arriving in Toronto. They're choosing to make Toronto their destination. And sometimes in the past, it used to be a place you would kind of go through a little bit more quickly. People are spending more time here, spending more money, more days here, and that affects more businesses.
Not only did the federal government remove the visa requirements for Mexican travelers to visit Canada, but Weir says many travelers are now looking beyond the United States. I'm Laura Carney.
So we all know people love to visit our city and its major tourist attractions like the CN Tower and the Ripley's Aquarium. But where do Torontonians, the locals themselves, like to go? The places that are off the beaten track, the hidden gems, so to speak. We wanted to consult with some of you and some of my fellow reporters. One of my favorites, for example, is the Dumpling House here on Spadina. Best dumplings in the city, hands down. We'll have a few more examples of those coming up, but we also wanted to find the best outdoor spots as well as the most romantic. And maybe not surprisingly, the two overlapped quite a bit.
My fave outdoor spot is the beach. I mean, we have the most spectacular beach along Lake Ontario, and it's actually considered one of the best beaches in the world. It's really wonderful. And my favorite thing to do is I'm a paddleboarder, so I take my paddleboard out.
We hit the streets and got some other great ideas.
I don't know if you're familiar with down the harbourfront, there's a music garden. You get the perfect view of the CN Tower, beautiful gardens, and just the city view from ground level. So I always go there just to kind of like hang out, relax, and it's really, really serene.
Scarborough Bluffs in the East End as well.
True, good point, good point.
Great location just to go and sightsee, eat, spend the day.
Those could also be in the romantic category, but here's Christina Howren's choice for that, a place where her parents had their first date decades ago.
I really do like the Old Mill Spa. They've got a great brunch, a fantastic spa itself, but also the park around it means that it's beautiful, but it's also free. So you don't have to be rich to go in there. You can go enjoy the grounds.
And on the other side of town,
Chester Hill Lookout is the most romantic spot in the city because you can see the whole skyline from there. You can see really pretty sunsets, and you can see evergreen brickworks and the woods. And it's great.
Around Riverdale Farm and the Necropolis, and then as you walk a little bit farther, you can sort of overlook, I guess it would be the DVP.
Yes.
But I find that hill there very, very sort of romantic, but also just like a nice way to see the city.
So coming up, we take you to some of Toronto's lesser known but excellent music, art, and food venues.